back, and the Mad Lions prepare to bare their teeth. Will it be for a spot in the playoffs? Origen going up against them and in need of a severe reawakening. We have lost Origen, and it is getting to crunch time. Week 7 is on the cards, and so is Drakos and Frosk. Obviously not words on my card because I put hand sanitizer all over them.
You guys don't know, the script was like 2 words. This man just improv like a Shakespearean monologue about the start of this.
Shakespearean monologue?
Like they have to claw their way back.
I mean, I was getting descriptive.
British, he's not Shakespeare.
Well, wasn't he British? I don't
American
know.
education has not led me to believe. I thought every British person could just...
And did you know that he spelled his name differently like 7 times? So who really was Shakespeare? Maybe it was me. And maybe I'm defying the laws of time and physics. We don't need the card. It's covered in ink. So we can move on. Origen now have had a bad last week. Isn't that right, Drakos? Because you are corpsing. 0-2, bro.
Yeah, so Origen's week was whiplash, you know? Not my tempo, most certainly, because it was absolutely a mess this time around. And while initially coming to this week, you were kind of optimistic looking at Origen overall, it felt like they were getting things together. It felt like Jactroll was the right look for this team. Chaos in this Vitality game meant that they just could not get anything done.
And I think this is an issue with identity. So I've praised Origen's team fighting in the past before, and that's particularly because of Upset and Alphari. I think these 2 guys are so good at team fighting. Alphari, when you can get him on a zone control type of champion, something like his Gangplank where you place down the barrels and you just don't even dare to walk over it. Sure. And then Upset is an amazing team fighting ADC. The issue is that the other members of Origen are very inconsistent with team fighting. And in this meta, that is what you need to do because Soul and Baron is so powerful. So I think Origen are actually being exposed because Xerxe, Nukeduck, and Jactroll are really struggling to fit in this meta, Nukeduck in particular. And
is that to say, Drakos, that this meta would, like they couldn't just play ball and start playing more for objectives? I mean, like, surely is that not a question that's worth asking?
I mean, the thing is that you would assume, and they are playing a lot of meta picks, right? It's just the issue is they're not playing them very proficiently. And for a player as veteran as Nukeduck, that's not normally an issue we expect to see. And in past years, it wasn't a big deal. He was still able to hold himself at the top of the competition. But as the competition gets stiffer and stiffer, as more rookie mid laners come up, Humanoid and Larson getting better. Even last game, we see Xayah really stepping up as a guy that wasn't really on our radar. Yeah. There's more pressure on Nukeduck to just frankly be better, to execute better, to build leads on his own. And we just haven't really seen that this split.
And the issue specifically, I think, is the Orianna. Like, Orianna, for how powerful it is as a blind pick and how pivotal it is in so many compositions, Nukeduck's Orianna does not look as good as Xayah's Orianna that we just watched.
Right, so it is also a question of just personal comfort that this patch and these priorities are just not gelling for the Origen squad. So with Mad Lions are going up against them, my question has to be, just how close are they, and will those cracks continue to become more of an issue? You weren't happy last week with the Mad Lions.
It was probably the weakest performance of the Mad Lions that we'd ever seen. And, you know, I don't know if maybe they took their foot a little bit off the gas, or maybe you just kind of have an off week, but this was not what you really expected. Now, in terms of identity, if we talked about how Origen have 2 really good members who team fight, Mad Lions have 5 really good members who team fight, which is why I think that they've also been so successful in this meta. I do want to give a shout out to Orome. I think he is still having a particularly good last week, and I think he's really starting to pop off. But otherwise, I just want to see the Mad Lions return back to form.
Absolutely do, and of course this would be a fantastic game to do it because while the team fighting is definitely stronger, individual laners, Orome, he has looked good, but he is going up against Alphari. So this is a huge opportunity to prove himself heading into playoffs. Regardless of the state of Origen, you always know that Alphari will be fighting for that #1 spot as a top laner, and if Orome can take him down, very good look as we get closer to playoffs.
Closer to playoffs and maybe even closer to Worlds for Mad Lions. That top spot does get the free ticket to those Worlds, so let's not forget that they hold the top spot now, and a win here versus Origen would make things oh so more juicy, and there's tons on the line this game, so let's send it over to the casters and get that action started.
Thank you so much, and welcome to the Caster Desk as we see shots of the Mad Lions preparing for their game today. I'm Quickshot, joined by Drakos. No, Ender.
No, it's
Why
Ender.
are you wearing the same clothes?
I'm gonna be honest. It was a happy accident. It was a happy accident.
How many clothes we have backstage, and they choose to wear the exact same outfits?
Look, we were like, we're never gonna be on a segment together today. Have you ever seen a Drakos and Ender in the same room? I haven't. Like,
I
have
saw
some fun
photos
with it.
of it. The Spider-Man meme. You
that.
recreated that nonsense, even in the same way. I wasn't invited to the Cool Earrings Club.
It's a look for younger kids. I'm sorry. It had to be done. All right, let's check it out. Our game, Mad Lions versus OG. Quickshot is shaking his head in disappointment.
Disappointed. I'm so disappointed. All the training, and you just throw me under the bus like that.
Look, there's got to be a little bit of banter back and forth. You know, gotta have some fun here today. It's been a very fun day of League of Legends.
And let's get a little serious for a brief second.
Sure.
If Mad Lions win this game, they guarantee themselves playoffs. And that means they guarantee themselves a very, very real shot at Worlds. If you don't make playoffs, you don't make Worlds. Origen are on the blue side, Mad Lions are on the red side. And I do want to reiterate something that Froskurinn was talking about on the Analyst desk. I want to see Mad Lions return to form. I'm bought in. Frankly, I want to see Mad Lions win the Summer Split. However, I need to see them get into playoffs, and I need to see them consistently showing that high level. What we saw against SK last week just isn't going to cut it.
I do want to say, I don't feel like Mad Lions have like fallen off. Like they had a bad game.
Agreed.
We'll give them that. But top teams do have bad games from time to time. They try something and it doesn't work. So I feel like Mad Lions are just going to be looking to bounce back and, remind people why they are at the top here on 10-15. We'll see if they have anything special for us. But for now, it seems to be a lot of the same. I love that Origen have decided, no, Shadow, you're not going to be allowed to play the Lee Sin anymore. Teams have taken notice already, and his most played, his best champion, the best Lee Sin in the LEC, won't get to run it today.
Yeah, he's got 7 games played, 70% win ratio. Senna will join the ban list along with Pantheon. Olibear's gone, Oriana's gone. We've also seen 10-50. We saw a Caitlyn ban earlier today, is available right now. And I want to see whether or not she's going to see play. It does have a pretty large impact in that bot lane meta. It's going to be a Kalista final ban, an OG with the near Instalock Syndra here.
Yeah, and Mad Lion's going to be leaving the Thresh open for Jactroll. Jactroll, who came in 2 weeks ago, looked insane. Then last week, very different story for him. Maybe wants to try the Thresh, get a champion that can sort of do it all, put him back on Comfort to have a solid showing here. But the Syndra does give Origen a lot of flexibility already early on in the draft.
And of course, Nukeduck is a player that we've been very critical of.
Wait a
and
second.
Sona's
Wait a second.
What?
We just went full LCS, man. This is Sona Lux bot lane.
So it was Cloud9 that played it,
Cloud9
right?
did it, yes.
And they ran Hecarim in the jungle.
Yeah.
And I think set mid lane.
They had set mid and Shen top lane, but I mean, these two champions are super interesting to talk about because you look at Sona and Lux, you're like, wait a second, these guys are going to the bot lane? That seems like crazy talk here, but of course can bully in the lane phase. You're not going to be farming like you would in a traditional lane. You're going to be stacking up the Spell Thief's Edge, which of course did get some nice buffs on patch 10-15. And now Origen's response into this is going to be the Xayah Rakan. So over in NA, I believe it was a Blitzcrank that was run on the other side. I'm looking at, there was a Blitzcrank by Core JJ. And even when they tried to kill bot lane, they couldn't make it work. Like, these guys just sustained on through it. So Origen are going to have to figure out how do we get a strong jungler? How do we roam Nukeduck down into the bottom lane to play off of a Rakan pick? Because in the past, Lux support was actually seen as a counter into the Rakan.
Yeah, as soon as he dashes forward, hit him with a light binding. It's pretty easy, predictable in that way. Oh man, this is actually really, really fun. And what I like is, it's the Mad Lions that have bucked the trend in terms of meta, quote unquote. And I want to see if they pull off. Cloud9 did not win that game. They were not successful with this duo.
How wild is Kaiser's champion pool though? Right, because he was the first guy to bring out the Wukong bot lane next to the Senna that Carzzy was playing, of course. Now, I'm actually not sure who's going to be playing the Lux, who's going to be playing the Sona. We'll have to wait and see where they do end up going with that. But I always think the bot lane of Mad Lions coming into the split is so exciting to watch. Love to see what these guys bring out time and time again. And now by putting Humanoid on a champion that can roam in this Twisted Fate, it can help limit a lot of pressure that could be thrown down that bot lane's way.
A little bit more of the global pressure has been banned away. Gangplank removed from the pool, set as well as Olaf. So Xerxe, what is he going to run into this? Will Mad Lions also lock in Hecarim? Shadow's not played it this split, and this comp so far is the same energy of Cloud9's team composition. I really hope it happens. And for observers and everyone watching at home, Ender and I are going to be focused on this bottom lane. There is no doubt in my mind. Xayah Rakan into Sona Lux. It's just fun. It's different.
There's a ton to talk about, and the dynamics of how the support items work, how the two lanes interact that we're definitely going to be diving into. Before we get to that, we do need to round out these compositions. What Mad Lions are lacking at the moment is some form of engage. Like the Sona's there to speed people up. You have the Twisted Fate that can start plays in side lanes. They're going to lock in the Renekton, and when you have the Sona speed up alongside it, you can of course look to get him into the back line, but that's not really going to cut it. You're going to to need something a little bit more from the jungle. Although what this Renekton does give Mad Lions is a lane to play through early, because you can't really play through Sona Lux in the early game. Like, you're not going to come down bot lane and look to get kills. Like, they're not going to set you up super well for that. What you can do is play around mid and top and then convert that pressure down towards bot.
I really like the fact that you can get options. Yes! Quinn and Valor in the top lane. I like the fact that there's options for Humanoid. If the Sona Lux does get to a position, especially after level 6, where they can put pressure on Rakan, TF can eventually go that way. Can go top to Renekton, maybe needed to help out against Quinn, because Quinn is going to have such a good time early on here.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Orome have the insane carry performance on the Renekton last week. You know, Mad Lions carrying after the game in the post-game celebration. Alphari's just like, wait a second, I'm still the best top laner in the LEC. Like, I'm going to lock in the Quinn. I'm going to dumpster that, because that is a hard counter lane where the Quinn's going to be running cleanse up there. There's really not much that a Renekton pick can do. So, Origen, what do they have? They have, you know, win lane by yourself type top lane champion, and now this Rek'Sai is the champion that's supposed to try and snowball through bottom lane.
Okay, nice. Yes! Okay.
Okay.
That was the initiation. This is like Cloud9 energy entirely. They ran Set and Shen. That time I can see the comp on your screen. And
guys, if you're going to copy NA's homework, don't make it obvious.
Now the question is, you've explained to me how the Mad Lions comp can work. What do you make of this OG comp with the Quinn up in that top lane, the Xayah Rakan? You know, Rek'Sai can be that frontliner, but not exactly the most terrifying. Are they a bit of a 4-1 or something like that?
Yeah, so right now you have a lot of pressure that a Quinn can create in side lanes, and what I see from Origen is they need to, you know, start popping off early mid. I think we're looking at Rek'Sai to play around bot side, potentially look for flashes blown, deny this Sona Lux down towards bottom lane. You also have a Syndra you can play through if you can unlock her then to team up with you and make roams towards bot lane post level 6. These plays can be very, very effective. And of course up top lane, Alphari, he's looking to 20+ CS lead in this top lane to net success overall for him in the lane phase.
Right, reminder at the stakes here for Mad Lions, a win guarantees playoffs, means they will be in the top 6 at the conclusion of the regular season, and they will have a shot at Worlds. For Origen, still fighting for their lives, and seeing both Misfits and Schalke picking up wins, this is scary for Origen.
Alrighty, well, Quickshot, I would say this game is fun, but this bot lane is fun. I just want to get straight into bot lane right off the bat, because there is so much to talk about here. Observers, please, let's just look at bot lane in the early game. Let's just focus on that. Of course, it is going to be Kaiser piloting the Lux, Carzzy on the Sona, but you'll notice right off the bat, things are looking different. We have 2 Spell Thief's Edges down in the bottom lane. Now, on patch 10.15, there was a key buff to the Spell Thief's Edge, which doubled its base mana regen at its first rank, of course, plus 25% moving on forward from that. Also got a little bit of extra AP later on, but that's the less important buff going there. So more mana means more sustain, more poke spells, all this stuff inside of the laning phase. But what these champions are going to be looking to do is harass more often than you normally would. Less focus on CSing, more focus on actually applying the Spell Thief's Edge procs and getting money from that.
Okay, so that's how we're going to evaluate success. Keep a close eye then on the gold values, because CS may not tell the full story.
Yes, and so one actual pivotal breakpoint you have to consider when you look at this lane, because OG very clearly are saying we have to hurt these guys. We have Xayah Rakan, there's a lot of engage potential there. You have Halo Blade's Rek'Sai too, who on blue side, he's looking to gank this bottom lane. So one thing you might find here is that actually in the early lane phase, Carzzy and Kaiser are going to net less gold individually than Upset. So on first base, we're looking at a tier for Carzzy, maybe a Chalice of Harmony for Kaiser, whereas Upset will be able to base on 1300 and get himself a BF sword. So it is that big window after the first reset where OG can really look to hammer home.
I really want to keep a close eye on how this plays out. You can see that as Jactroll looks for the initiation there, instant line binding is what we talked about in draft. And I really like the explanation, very clear differentiations in how these two duo lanes are going to be playing these next few minutes and where we're going to be looking for success. So once we do get those first backs coming in, let's keep a close eye on the gold values, because it's a different style of duo. This is not something I've seen a lot of. And one thing I haven't actually heard you say yet, do you like it?
I do like it. This is something that, the playtester brain in me has been saying this has been a possibility for a long time now, because one thing you're going to notice is actually, wait, Carzzy's CSing a little bit. And if you limit the amount of CS you take, you can get minions without fighting at a deficit. Now, Shadow's here for a counter gank, but here comes OG.
Yeah, Shadow knew this was a possibility. He was waiting in the wings. Instant flash and
See you later.
And that was beautiful. Zero hesitation from Origen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really solid roam right there. Nukeduck has early pressure. Of course, Alphari's trying to bounce that in. 500 kills in the LEC for Alphari too. Just need a little extra help from his team to come up there and get that. But this is a very pre-planned play from Origen, because even if Shadow isn't there, they're going to kill Orome, because there's a giant, this fat, juicy minion wave going into the tower that they can try to deny from Orome. And you can already see that CS lead building up for Alphari's Quinn there.
Well, very nicely done. The hard counter lane already with first blood gold.
Yeah.
I love the party hat, by the way.
Feels birthday, man.
If the graphics team can you pull that up again? Because these young Padawans that don't know much, the party hat is fantastic. It's a classic Photoshop from back in the day. Started with the Tele-Clown Wars. First time we actually used it. Where Defish and I also wore party hats.
Yeah, the little clown noses too and everything.
We had some photos as well for SOAS and birthday. The confetti is a nice touch. Thank you, graphics team. Now we turn our attention back to the game as Humanoid takes a chunk of damage from Nukeduck. And this is a very good start for Origen, because if Orome can continue to be bullied and pushed back, it just reduces the number of options that Mad Lions can use to play around. And for the time being, first back, Cull picked up for upset, by the way. And Carzzy yet to...
They haven't been back yet.
Yeah,
they're going to look to push in one more wave. So a little bit less, or not necessarily what we were expecting.
Yes.
Upset had to go back a little bit earlier, and I think we might have missed, if there'd been some excessive trading down there, if he needed to go back quite that soon. We will continue to see how this lane phase progresses, because now that Xerxe actually spent his flash to get that kill up top side, and of course on the other side, Shadow's going to be running the Ignite on the Hecarim, which might look a little bit odd, but is pretty standard in solo queue these days. Xerxe's gank options are going to be severely limited down towards the bottom side. It would mean a second visit to actually net a kill.
Okay, now in terms of power spikes for the Xayah Rakan, because the BF Sword is going to be a little delayed, right? A little later, not going to have quite that same spike. Do you think this shifts some of the power to Mad Lions and like the options they can have? Because now they're going to have more time to generate that additional gold.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it necessarily shifts power, but definitely gives them a little bit more breathing room. I actually really like this move from Carzzy. It doesn't really matter where he is. Humanoid might be saying, hey, stop taking my experience, but at the end of the day, he needs some sustain. He needs the help to try and push this one out of Jactroll.
Another zero hesitation play.
Ooh.
Humanoid got caught by Scatter the Weak in the stun, did not flash, and therefore he dies.
And it's not like that play was a huge surprise, because Jactroll was sitting there for 15 seconds inside the lane. Humanoid just thought it was going to be an honorable 2 versus 2, but Jactroll went flying on in there, and that's going to be an early death. Now, Humanoid actually really liked a lot of what he did, because he started with the Corrupting Potion. He went back for an early base, picked up the Dark Seal, which synergizes really nicely. When you start with that Corrupting Potion, you get the increased healing from pots, so it's a very nice combination, but of course now goes back, dies. Now he has the Merc Treads, which is nice against Syndra, but she has the Lost Chapter, which is going to make it much easier to control the wave state inside of this 1v1.
Alphari just bullying Orome. 49 CS to 38, a number still under the tower. Orome forced to throw down the ultimate just to survive under the tower. Alphari flashes for this, gets caught, and it's a trade 1-for-1. Orome, despite looking like he was going to get dumpstered, manages to use the stun and the flash effectively.
Yeah, Alphari was caught in a weird position where Humanoid was ulting up to top lane. He's like, well, I already sort of dove the tower. I have to commit. Now, I think Alphari will take that and say, that is a win for me. Because, of course, now that Destiny is going to be gone, TF forced all the way to top side means Drake goes over to Origen.
Yeah.
So overall on the map,
Net
OG
positives
are going to win out. Although I'm not quite sure if Nukeduck was able to fully push that wave in mid lane. I think that Humanoid's going to be able to pick that up and feel not too terrible about losing that ultimate.
Yeah, got a couple of minions towards the top there, shove that way forward. You can see Alphari still sitting under his tower, and here comes Shadow. Onslaught Shadows is available if he wants to, throws it underneath the tower, and starts to throw the Rafflecopter around. The Ignite is ticking and ticking and done. Nukeduck's down. Mad Lion's get a second.
I believe that was a double ignite there. Humanoid might have switched that over from his teleport to use that, taking him down with that. And now Nukeduck falls down, everything restored to order inside this middle lane. So to sort of zoom out for a second, because like bot lane was such a focus early on, but since there,
all the
nothing's
action's
really
everywhere else.
Yeah, and we actually, maybe OG have changed their approach, because when I saw the Rek'Sai, I was thinking, hey, we actually hit bot lane, and that was a common strategy.
Oh my word, Alphari's going forward, continues to chase that
gonna
vault.
be all right.
Is so valuable, and Shadow escapes with his life. But yeah, all of the focus around top lane for the time being.
Because I was thinking, if we actually like took the C9 TL game as an example, TL threw so many resources into trying to shut down the Sona plus Lux in the bot side, and the draft from OG would indicate, hey, you actually do have the tools to go there, but they actually really struggled at getting kills in that lane. So OG's plan clearly here is to control around these winning lanes already. They've played for the early top dive. Now Xerxe is controlling these early objectives completely, and that's going to put them in a really nice spot where they can place that Herald down fast. They can actually maintain the 2v2 in bot lane, where they say, hey, there's no 8-minute Herald swap because Xerxe just took that for himself. So now if they wanted to go down towards bot side, they have that option.
Okay, let's talk about the stake then. It's a nearly 1,000 gold advantage for OG. They've got the Infernal, they've got the ability to get more gold thanks to the Herald. If I can ask the observers to look at the gold values for me, I want to take a look at the difference in the bottom lane. So total gold 5k on the side of Upset, Jactroll 3 and 2, and roughly the same, 4,600 for Carzzy, Kaiser. So despite the CS disparity, they are staying close on gold, and that's important to track.
Yeah, and one thing you're going to see there is Carzzy has 36 minions, Kaiser has 33. This is because in order to, there's a penalty if you're farming minions when you have a support item. So you can't farm too many minions, or they're going to say, no, you stop getting gold. So what this means is that Carzzy, wait a second, Humanoid.
Yeah, he's going to get stunned again before he can even do anything. Just gets run down. No flash in the mid lane. Jactroll was there to respond as well. And Humanoid is currently getting picked apart. Now Jactroll will be able to use a hero's in.
Hello!
Get away, and now gets taken out by the Finales Funken, as well as Shadow jumping in. Of course, it's Final Spark.
You need to stop listening to Freakcast. I know Freak said that. I know Freak said that, but like,
I like the old
you get one of those per year.
Okay. Well, listen, this is my first luck support of the year, so I think I'm allowed.
Okay, Trevor, fine.
Now Orome is going to be the next target as Nukeduck is roaming up. Origen have already got 4 kills on the board. They're looking for a 5th. Dominus is available to Orome, and he's going to be able to escape. Nukeduck not really in range for the stun just yet. He's playing with vision. But this is really strong. I think they're picking on Humanoid for the time being.
Shadow's on the way.
Step forward. Shadow's got the onslaught available to him, as well as the ignite and Chilling Smite for now. And there's Shelly in the mid lane, as well as the Lovers Duo.
Yeah, so right now Xerxe actually wants to make a red buff invade. I feel he's pinging that out. Jactroll can move up. They just put down the Herald, so they're playing for this mini objective inside Shadow's jungle. And I think if he actually passed straight down, he could avoid Shadow's field of vision. They're going to miss the window just a little bit, but they're pivoting. They say, forget the red buff, we're going to look for Orome up topside. Nukeduck's here to chunk him out before the tower goes down, and there's only a Destiny to try and get Humanoid up here for the help.
Orome, can he pull a rabbit out of the hat? He's got the Dominus, throws it down. There's the slice and the dice, cull the meat to buy some time, but Upset gets his first kill of the game. While that's going on, the Mad Lions duo are pushing down bottom. They're 1,000 gold behind. Multiple plates were lost to the Rift Herald in the mid lane. And for the time being, it is all OG. They are playing so proactive.
Yeah, I really like that move from OG. This is exactly what their composition needs to do. You have so many winning lanes. Play through them, set up dives, get Nukeduck out of that middle lane. I do want to point out, though, that while you talked about the Spell Thief's Edge, how you want to use that to harass in lane to provide gold for yourself, you also do get to cash in your procs when you auto-attack towers. So even though Kaiser and Carzzy are down there without an enemy team to whack away at, they go up, they get their 3 procs against the tower, and they're still going to net themselves some gold.
Very good indeed, and I love seeing an early Executioner's calling here for Upset. There's a lot of healing on the Mad Lions side between Sona, Spirit of Dread, Renekton's with Kalmeek, etc. So I think there'll be a lot of value gained from that early pick.
Yeah, and already Alphari can move down. We're about to fight for a Drake. I feel like Mad Lions might have to give this up because they don't have a TP. Carzzy goes crazy with the flash forward there, trying to make that one happen, but they may have to peel away because, again,
that's
no
huge.
top lane, and Xerxe has a full warrior. Shadow is going for Trinity Force. He doesn't have the items to stand up in this 5v5.
And there's no Crescendo now inside the Dragon Pit. When you combine the power of that Onslaught of Shadows plus Crescendo, it is terrifying. Humanoid does have the ability to Destiny and the ability to gate. Scatter the weak from Nukeduck. Final Spark comes across, and Shadow, with the help of a Rampage, manages to get another. The Prismatic Barrier keeps him alive. A few seconds longer, and the Sona heals allow him to escape. And now Humanoid chases down OG, and just like that, the game is evened out.
I love watching the Mad Lions play. Look at Humanoid go underneath the towers, trying to finish off Jactroll.
Was personal.
And he does it. That was personal, kid. Gets in there for that one. Because right when we say Mad Lions in a normal fight do not stand a chance, which I stand by, I don't think they do, they come out with something you do not suspect. Shadow hiding in the fog vor. Humanoid uses the ultimate to pick off Nukeduck. Once that happens, they can turn on to Jactroll. All of these things come into effect because OG are split up. A couple of them are down on the Drake. Nukeduck's wandering around thinking he's fine. He's got a team around him, but Mad Lions see the window and they punish so wonderfully.
Really nicely done. And I was starting to build up in my head, like, is Humanoid done? Like, I'm really disappointed. And just like that, with the help of a good combo, the Orome manages to sneak a couple of kills and then sends a gigantic message to OG with a flash under the tower.
It's just so nice, too, because even Kaiser's there trying to snipe out with the ultimate. Shadow, of course, will finish him off. And you can see, because OG were a little bit split up, because they lost Nukeduck right off the bat, and also Alphari left bot side. Alphari, remember, came down there to say, hey, we have a numbers advantage. It's 5v4, you don't have a TP. Well, he pathed back topside, and then Orome was able to walk down after pushing in the lane. So even though he didn't contribute to the fight, the looming threat of him being on the horizon was enough for OG to try and turn tail and run.
Oh, Orome got the animation, but it was in that safety buffer. Look, these teams are dead even on gold, dead even on dragons, and next game's going to be Rogue versus Fnatic. When we do get out of this graphic, I would like to take a look at the gold once again. I want to keep tracking this, especially because of the fact that Carzzy and Kaiser have a few kills under their belt. Looking at total gold, which is kind of how I'm trying to evaluate this, you're talking, what, 7,600 for the duo to around 8 and a bit here. So advantage to OG's duo lane.
Yes,
but the utility on the other side.
But you do have
out.
to say that, again, Kaiser is going to be getting a lot more money income from Jactroll, so like the scaling of a mage support is going to be crucial, as well as Shadow. He's getting some extra money. He's going to be the huge recipient of a lot of these buffs, where Sona can speed him up, heal him, do all this jazz. He's going to be diving into the backlines and trying to give, you know, a very squishy Alphari, Nukeduck, and Upset a very difficult time. So I feel like from OG's perspective, the game being close isn't the best thing to happen for them. They were playing full throttle. They were going for these dives. They made some mistakes, and now they can't let up. Otherwise, Mad Lions could be a big problem once Sona gets her Lich Bane. Like, she will hit like an absolute truck when that comes through.
And that's a lot of squishy champions on the side of Origen, right? And it all went to hell because of that single dragon play. Like, creative decision-making from Mad Lions.
Whoa!
Look at that, into the crescendo. Here comes the Destiny. Feathers fly from Upset. Humanoid is locked down. He goes golden thanks to the stopwatch. Now underneath the turret, Nukeduck gets exhausted. That's the ultimate exhausted. Humanoid escapes with his life for now. Manages to get the gold card down as Nukeduck manages to get a kill in reply. Humanoid still running for his life. Scan of the week. Jactroll with an entrance of note. But he won't be able to find the kill. Sona managing to keep Humanoid's TF alive.
That was so huge for Mad Lions, though, just staying alive just barely while Jactroll sees his window, dives on forward, is just, you know, 1 or 2 auto attacks away from getting the kill. This is going to be a problem, as now we see some more pivotal items coming through for the Mad Lions. You have the Trinity Force on Shadow. Zonia's now for Humanoid. He's saying, look, I want to get into your backlines. I want to start off plays. He's playing TF like an initiator. Let's check out this fight one more time, because it's a really good layering of CC from the Mad Lions, but they can't quite finish off Upset. That delays things. Carzzy took a lot of damage off the tower, and then Humanoid sort of gets stuck underneath the tower. Shadow wastes his ultimate thinking he needed to help finish off you know, the Upset right there, and then underneath this tower, Nukeduck isn't going to keep getting jumped on, so he puts down the damage. Humanoid so ridiculously low, and Jactroll sees the stun. He sees it, but the heal comes through, the shield comes through from Carzzy Sona.
That is a matter of milliseconds. That was so close. Okay, there's no denying the fact Origen are currently in control of the game. They've got the gold lead, the tower lead. They've used the Rift Herald now to secure the third, okay? So Origen's team and composition is dictating the pace of this game. Ender, you've already said that in a straight-up fight, We're not really going to see how Mad Lions are going to be able to win this one, right?
No, so I think
Other way
that
around, sorry.
we're going to get to a point where Mad Lions, like, this bot lane is a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
And it's going to be such a problem. And again, like, you see the Sona Lux going to be so threatening later on. Hecarim is going to
Define
outscale
later. Are you talking
Rek'Sai.
2 items, 3 items?
So for Sona, when she becomes a real threat is when the Lich Bane comes through.
Got
Because
it.
then she can just Q auto you with the empowered cores there and absolutely destroy you. Now with Shadow, watch him, how strong he's going to be in any of these fights. Like, look at the damage.
Yeah, there's the devastating charge. Destiny from Humanoid is used, doesn't get anything from that. But the rest of Origen, we're going to be able to be dissuaded. So I'm going to keep my eyes for this Lich Bane. Mad Lions are losing control of the map. They're now down 2,000 gold. The Ocean Drake is currently being contested vision-wise, but if you look at OG, they've already reset, they've shopped Essence Reaver, Blatherin King, Luden's Echo. If they go in position for the Dragon again and don't make the same blunder they did previously, Origen are going to be pretty happy, although they're going to arrive late. They've just conceded this.
Yeah, Mad Lions are just going to get this one pretty much for free here. OG don't really have anything else to play for on the top side of the map other than getting vision. You can see Nukeduck is actually walking behind Alphari. So they sort of saw that Mad Lions were going to make the move for the Dragon. They say, second Drake of the game, it's not going to mean anything.
Yeah, okay.
OG clearly not trying to stack up towards the fourth, although I feel like that could be a pretty big win condition for them later on in the game, and instead want the injection of gold via that turret in the top lane and the control over this topside jungle, because we're now at a point where OG's composition is excellent at picking you off. So Mad Lions, if they don't control vision inside of their jungle, OG can walk in, they can exploit that. OG are going to be very good at controlling mid-wave because they have an AD carry like Xayah that can clear that through, or a Syndra. That's going to be superior to a Lux or a Sona when they do match up. So OG, it's about continuing to control the map, play for picks, play for the mini objectives of taking away camps inside the enemy jungle and denying minion waves, whereas Mad Lions are just waiting for their time to shine, waiting for their moment.
I'm also nervous whoever's going to pick up this Ocean Soul, because I think it benefits both teams in slightly different ways, right? Obviously, any poke comes down from Mad will be helpful for Origen to be able to regen it. On the other side, giving more regen to that composition is going to be game freaking over. Alphari, by the way, just picked up the Storm Razors, 2 items. He's got a 20-odd CS advantage over Orome. And for the last few minutes I've been watching the minimap, Orome really does not want to be alone wherever Alphari is. I think he's done his best to swap around. And it's going to be a difficult game for him in terms of that matchup and trying to keep Alphari at bay.
The one piece of positive news for Orome is that I don't feel like he needs to match up into the Quinn 1v1, especially if he's playing to the same side of the map that his team is playing right now. So you can see both top laners went to bot side, while Mad Lions, they realized, hey, Baron, we're just 20 minutes in, let's not get too crazy around controlling that. They just want to own vision around this bot side, so it gives Orome a lot of freedom because he knows Alphari can't simply push up into the wave and start trading really aggressively into him. Otherwise, Mad Lions are going to be able to collapse very nicely. Now, the problem will then come when he has to go topside when the Drake is spawning, and that's the window in which Alphari can actually make a move.
Dun 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 dun. Deliberating threat, yeah.
Killing minions,
vision.
Trevor.
No, it was the vision toggle. I got baited by observers. So we saw Orome coming down the river, and then vision toggled, and I'm like, is he going in? This is bold. And it was literally just the observers trolling me. As Alphari's going to get dove now with a lot of support, but look at that vault plus the tower! And he manages to get the takedown with all of the burst from the Blade of the Ruined King and the combination on Quinn's passive. That was fantastic.
And now I'm sort of looking at the map right now. OG are going to be able to fully push in that bottom wave. They can actually steal away this blue buff as well and get some free vision down bot lane, whereas Mad Lions, they're going to get a tower, if that. If it's just Humanoid, Xerxe can just kill him.
He can indeed.
He has his Zonias though.
Waiting for the ulti, and that's going to get Zonia'd away. That's not bad. Humanoid needs to prime the gold card. It is almost ready, and he didn't miss fire. But Flash secured is huge, and Humanoid has been a target of Origen all game long.
He's died in a couple of silly ways, but he's also been a really important part of Mad Lions setting up some kills. And again, like, I'm thinking back to that dragon fight where he goes flying in there with Shadow.
I pinned that on, I think, Shadow waiting in the wings.
Look,
I'm giving him the kudos.
You give them both credit. You give them both credit. If they're both on the screen, they both did something, and I respect that. As for these next items coming through, I see a Fiendish Codex on the Sona, and I'm wondering which direction does go with that, because of course I'm a big fan of the Lich Bane. It could be that he just wants to sit on the CDR. We'll see what goes on there. Fancy camera angles from all around. I love it.
Man, that is awesome. The camera angles are so good, the FPS struggle to keep up. Nicely done. I really like this. Like, all kudos to, honestly, all the observers around the world who are now getting more and more creative and artistic with their approaches. We'll have to do a vote one day. Like, who does it better, LCK or LEC? Not for today, though. I'm just priming it, right?
I like it, I like it.
Put the observer teams in the boxing ring and see who comes
You've
up
heard
better.
of Worlds. Now it's Observer Worlds.
That's it. That would actually be a pretty sick bracket. Like, you know, put like social media voting and take it from there. But I mean, look, Mad Lions, 30 seconds till the next dragon. I think Origen do not want to let them get the Ocean Soul, but do they contest the next one? They conceded the previous. It's 4 towers to 2. It's a 2,000 gold lead.
I'll say pretty much everyone has just hit some form of an item spike, so both teams probably feel really confident moving into this one. Big thing to look at, though, is, again, Alphari pushing top lane. OG want to pull Orome up towards that lane to give them more control around mid and around the Drake, and they may even want to if Mad Lions commit bot side.
Nukeduck has been fantastic with those Scatter the Weeks. Every single time his stunners need to land, he has been able to do so, and Xerxe is going to bail out the pit.
Yeah, so check this out. Humanoid was full pushing down in mid lane, and Orome has already started the Drake, so OG can't contest this. I think they're realizing some of their limitations potentially in the 5v5, because again, their whole thing is bursting you at the start of the fight. You got Hailblades, Rek'Sai, you got a Quinn, you got a Syndra. These champions want to blow up whoever is in front of them, and when they're shielding, there's healing, there's a Xerxe, there's a Zonius, that becomes very, very difficult. So they're trying to play within pockets of vision around the top side. Now, Mad Lions have good vision control, so that has become very difficult for them, so their only course of action is to full push that top lane, but Mad Lions are here to try and punish that.
Oh man, you've got to take a lot of time to chase Alphari. The Chilling Smite plus the gold card will do a lot, and that will just be about enough to kill Alphari. Shadows escape before he's left the final spark! The damage from the CC chain means Origen are obliterated.
They just got destroyed. OG tried to come in there and save Alphari. I don't know why.
It's like
Mad Lions are all there.
1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah.
Now Mad Lions, they're starting themselves off in the pit. No ultimates for everyone except Orome, but Origen can't contest. Scatter the Weak as well as the Unleashed powers available, but Nukeduck's just not sticking around.
There's just nothing you can do here. Humanoid's even teleporting in here to make sure no one gets even near the pit. They're going to try to finish this one off. There's no TP on Alphari. He's playing the Quinn. He's going to be an easy pickup here for the Mad Lions. And you go back, you empathize for OG because they know that they can't step up in the 5v5s. They know that it's really hard to play this game because they did not chunk out a large enough lead early on. So they're forcing around topside. And Alphari thinks he's safe to do this because probably, like Mad Lions, do they have 3 people on our topside jungle when they're also doing Dragon? Probably not. Well, they do here. Humanoid on the TF has been a major problem for OG, and then committing to try and turn everything around is the huge mistake. I'm not actually sure if they saw Kaiser and Carzzy behind them because there were a lot of Mad Lions wards inside the jungle. I don't know if OG actually saw that. I hope they didn't, because if they committed to that while also seeing the bot lane of Mad Lions there, that would be a massive mistake.
Yeah, definitely the case. The fact that Carzzy managed to connect the double crescendo, game changer. Mad Lions, 3 minutes until Ocean Soul. They've got Baron buff for the next 2, and they've got gold lead 500 for now. Double Athenes sitting on the side of Carzzy and Kaiser, and waiting for that Lich Bane. Gonna start making its way in.
We might not even get there because Sona plus Lux Siege is ridiculous. Look at the shields. Like, everyone can walk forward and hit theirs. They don't care. They got a Lich Bane on. TF, he's gonna smash theirs. They can just dive.
Look at the threat. Look at the threat. The Unstoppable Onslaught doesn't even tag anyone, but the Crescendo does. Carzzy is going crazy for the Mad Lions. They are now going to take the inhibitor. There are Baron-empowered minions that can push with the siege. It's a 30-second death timer for Nukeduck and Mad Lions. Do they look for the win, or do they fall back and play it safe? For the time being, there's no minions to work with.
The minions are here now, and they're not backing away. They actually are going to try and finish this one off right here, right now.
Are they going to do this? Wildcards going out from Humanoid. 17 seconds for Nukeduck.
And what can Origen do? How do they start a fight? They have no summoners. They have no engage. They're just watching their base get destroyed in front of them.
They have no chance. Mad Lions take a Nexus turret. They were able to find the crucial team fights against Origen. Mad Lions are on the cusp of guaranteeing playoffs. Now there's the re-engage from Alphari. The Nexus still stands. Mad Lions are being pushed backwards. What can they do? That's the unstoppable launch on the side. Shadow with the devastating charge correction. That's all of a sudden a dead Kaiser, but it's Mad Lions that are winning. They've lost 1 and taken 2.
They don't take any damage.
They can't.
They're out of mana, but they've got full HP bars.
And there's the re-engage once again. Nukeduck is not going to be able to do enough. There goes Shadow, takes down a Nukeduck, takes down the Nexus. Mad Lions book their ticket to playoffs.
And they keep coming out with something new. Sure, you know, they copied Danny's homework a little bit, but this looked incredible. I love the way they're able to play around. What even is that? Oh my god, that's so
Mad
good!
Lions.
Cut. We love Mad Lion. Cut. It's too perfect.
There is no way to top what we have just seen after watching a Sona Lux bottom lane win the game.
And with that, they lock playoffs.
And they didn't copy LCS's homework, because they got it right. Key player of the game at LEC on Twitter. Shadow, Humanoid, or Kaiser are going to be your 3 suggestions. Mad Lions are booked into playoffs. I'm amazed. It's awesome.
Just now that you're locked, give us more. You
Yes.
know, what's next? Do we get Zoe bot lane? Do
it.
Just do it. It'll
Just
be
do
fun.
it. Listen, after the break, we'll tell you more about Mad's win. Be sure to stick around. I love this team. They are just...
Charged up.
Hello, everybody. Let the game begin.
everyone, and welcome to Kaiser from the Mad Lions after beating out OG with an amazingly interesting comp. Kaiser, hello. Yeah, tell me about that Sona Lux bot lane. It is something that we saw over in NA from C9, who did not manage to win with it. Can you tell me about how you balanced out the comp to work around and with the Sona Lux in the bot lane?
Well, I think we wanted just a good front line. We wanted a bit of CC everywhere, and we wanted to have like a strong early game from our top side. And we managed to do that by like picking Renekton, by picking TF, right? Champions that can impact the game, early game, and get Sona and Lux through the early game. And I think we did a good job at that. But I also want to say, like, I think Origen kind of misidentified what you need to do against Sona Lux, because they picked a very hard scaling, very hard focused draft around the top side of the map, and I think what you need to do as Sona Lux is shut them down, and they tried to shut down Orome on the top side, and that gave us kind of like free scaling, and that kind of like snowballed into victory for us.
Kaiser, what are you doing? You're just telling your opponents what to do when you pick this against them.
Well, yeah, but I think it's, I mean, like this draft like was not really like specifically for like as a blind pick. I think we just picked it because it's Origen. Like we know that they like oftentimes they don't really snowball early games correctly, and like oftentimes they just try to scale. I think this game like was an example of that. I think they picked Rakan because they thought they would outscale us, and they always push in side lanes. They always like just try to neutralize the wave state, but that just doesn't work against Sona Lux. So yeah, that was a kind of a comp tailored around Origen.
So if C9 lost with the Sona Lux and you won, does that mean you're better than C9?
Well, I mean, I think C9 as an NA team, they should be better than us at A-ramming, but I'm not sure what happens. I guess like Team Liquid, like they did a pretty good job at like identifying what they have to do against Sona Lux. Like for example, Team Liquid actually played around the bot side. They played Blitzcrank, I think, and Trundle. They shut down the Sona Lux combo. I think C9 kind of messed up a bit in the late game as well. Like Sven caught out in crucial positions. So, and we didn't do that mistake. So I think, yeah, I think it was just mechanical errors from C9 side.
I like it. You're taking the high road. You're not throwing them under the bus. You're just analyzing the game. You also won the Kia Player of the Game, Kaiser. Congratulations.
Oh,
yeah, there
nice.
we go. I mean, playing Lux, why not, right? So I know that the analysts are going to talk a lot about this bot lane specifically. And you know, we know some of the things that work well for the bot lane. You know, a lot of sustain, a lot of ability to lock people down. But what would you say are the dangers or the things you have to look out for when you're playing this bot lane, both in the laning phase and in the rest of the game?
I mean, like, for sure, as I said, like, the early game is the roughest part. I think, like, pre-6, for example, you are really vulnerable on Sona because you don't really have that much HCC. You only have the Lux binding, but people can always, like, flash over that or, like, dodge it or something like that, right? And you're quite squishy as well. Like, after you get Archangels, after you have, like, some AP, some shielding power, I think you're kind of unkillable, right? But in the early game, it's very easy to kill you, especially if, for example, Rek'Sai just, like, tunnels behind you, tower dives you, stuff like that. It's, like, it's pretty easy to shut Sona Lux down. But as we saw, like Rakan, I can easily interrupt like the Rakan W. Like for example, Lux was always and has always been a counter to Rakan in the past. So I'm not really sure why they picked Rakan. Maybe they thought they can get away with it, scale to late game, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean they didn't punish us early game. They just played around top lane. So yeah. They just misidentified their win condition,
yeah,
I think.
That it seems like. Thank you so much, Kaiser. By the way, I don't know if you caught it, but you guys have locked your playoffs spot by that win, so congrats.
Thank you.
And also, how would you rate your celebration, your victory celebration, this one, out of all the ones you've done? I liked it. It was really cute.
Well, I think this one was by far the best one, actually. Like we had a lot of fun, like choreographing it in like practice tour and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, like Shadow hurt himself sometimes, but I think like sacrifices have to be made, right? And I think this was was by far the best one.
Yeah, when you're as good as the Mad Lions, you can just use your time instead of scrimming to choreograph these win moments. I love it. Thank you so much, Kaiser. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now we're going to talk a bit more about that Lux Sona bottom lane with our analyst, The Machine.
That's certainly the intention. Yes, I am joined by the Brain Trust to break it down for this post-game. It is none other than Vedius and Drakos. We've got more hot air than the stuff that's trapped in Drakos' shoes. I don't know, they just look pregnant. I can't get behind it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate the shoe question.
Yeah.
You started strong with brain trust. I thought we were just going to go.
Yeah, I mean, like, I massage you. I give with one hand, and I take with the other.
And I respect that strategy, and you're right to be skeptical because we just have the man who practiced Sona Lux all week tell us about Sona Lux, and now these guys who have probably only lost to it in solo queue also have to tell you about it.
So Thunder's stolen a little bit, but we do have to start this conversation with the picks and bans because, I mean, you know, you guys outlined it to me in the green room. It would be smart to do it again. There was some clear intentions with both drafts.
So I think that it's very clear that with Origen's draft, it's very much about getting early advantages and snowballing, which, for the record, is not something that Origen is known for. It is not something that they've been able to find a lot of success with, at the very least, like this year, I think it's fair to say. So I was surprised that they went for a draft like this. Now, seeing Alphari on a very lane-dominant champion, typically, you would just leave him alone, right? You'd actually just leave him in the 1v1, and you would just let him do Alphari things. And then the investment should have been bot lane, in my opinion. But they made it hard for themselves because they drafted we're bringing up the replays a little early, but like the intent here should be that with the Rakan, you utilize Rakan ultimate plus Rek'Sai coming round behind on blue side, and then you keep attacking the bot side of the map. And I think that Origen did have some positive early game plays, but as Kaiser was saying, a lot of them were invested up towards the top side of the map.
And really, the Rek'Sai ganks red side bottom lane so well. He's one of the few champions that can get over that fat wall reliably with the tunnel. And I really want to double down on what you're saying, because Quinn smashes Renekton 1v1. That matchup is strictly unplayable unless Quinn has no cleanse and no flash. The only way you win that matchup is flash W from Renekton. Otherwise, she just ease into you, and you instantly lose. We saw this matchup at Worlds, so...
Question?
Please, sir. Yes. So just help me out here. Help me out real quick. Don't distract me, because I'm already going to forget my point. But so if what you're telling me is true, and they've got themselves an Alphari on something he's comfortable with, why are they paying so much attention to top lane? What led to them actually focusing on the top lane more than they were supposed to?
It feels like misidentified win conditions, or they realized halfway through the draft that they counterpicked themselves bot lane and decided they didn't want to go down there anymore. But I really can't say for certain. One thing I will say is we wanted more early game aggression from Origen. We said, hey, this is something we're looking forward to. You know, you guys always play a clean late game. We want to see more early game. At the same time, it's come at the worst possible time, and Mad Lions drafted perfectly around it. So I'm
also of the opinion that when it comes to Origen, I just want to see like consistency, right? Because you had a 2-0 week with Jactroll, and then you had a 0-2 week with Jactroll, and then it was kind of like coming into this week, it was like, which one are we going to get?
This is 3 games in a row. That's the definition of consistency.
Well, I mean, that is true, but I think that what frustrated me about this game was it felt like the Origen had a game plan, which in isolation looks fine. Yeah. But in the context of what it was going against, it just doesn't work, because I think Kaiser summed it up really well in the interview, which is that they failed to recognize the way in which you beat this composition, which is by attacking the bot lane. Yeah. And if you don't get ahead, you end up with, well, like at one item, things already start to get very difficult.
Well, and I think the thing that we saw as we got to the second Drake fight was that just once the comp came online, that there was nothing that they could do. And I respect that Origen are like, okay, Mad Lions are the higher team in the standing. We want to draft something so we can fight them with stronger champions early on. But because they did not execute flawlessly, and because they put so much pressure on themselves to execute flawlessly in the early game, it made it so easy for Mad Lions to trade a few kills back early on and round us out with this fantastic team fight, where the second Mad Lions win one fight in this game, one big fight, the dragon doesn't matter. It's the fact that suddenly their champions are getting 1-2 items, and for the entire rest of this game, we got to see that death ball composition where Syndra just gets DPS checked. She just is never going to have enough damage again for the rest of the game if Sona and Lux are standing next to each other to do anything at all. Okay, so there's a ton of numbers and words on our screens right now, but if you wanted to direct our attention towards something that we can kind of tangible and hold on to, we can just look down that list.
What I want to draw your attention to is, it doesn't matter how much damage you do, it is never enough to get through Sona Lux. Like, I feel really bad for the balance team. Drakos was saying it earlier. Yeah. They try to nerf it out, and the pro players are like, wait, I found a new one.
It's a Tails all the time.
Final Fantasy 15, he's like, I've discovered a new recipe, right? he's like clicking his fingers like, hey, I've come up with a new one in the bot lane. Like, who knows what these pro players are always going to come up with, and like, it's obnoxious.
They have to hate Europe by now. It's Mad Lions or it's G2. They're like, guys, this time I swear we've made it so you can't take 2 support items in the bot lane. You're like, give us 3 months.
Yeah.
We'll figure out how to break it.
I mean,
we'll ruin
we
it.
did Pike top. Like, God, we just keep doing it. Anyway,
Oh, they caught a live one as well as the celebration. You love to see it.
Big catch.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh,
work.
my, the photo
execution.
finish.
I am impressed.
Oh, bless up LEC production. I love
but
it.
basically, the things that surprised me, kind of looking back at this game.
on.
Number one, the fact that you left Sona open. We've already seen it banned out today. Of the teams to pick it in our league right now, that's the team that's most likely to do it. And I think that the way in which Origen read it and responded to it was poor. So I think that this was very much a draft issue. I didn't ultimately have a massive issue with how the early game execution was. Like, sure, it should have been played bot lane, but at the end of the day, they got early advantages, just not necessarily in the right places. So if they can maintain that level of play with just a comp against a comp that makes more sense, then like, I'm probably not too worried about Origen. But when you look at how close the standings are, like, these losses are definitely things that you can't really afford to have right now.
And I think overall, when you look at OG, we didn't get to see scrims this week, so we don't know how prevalent this was. Maybe this is something that they weren't taking seriously.
It could have just come out of nowhere, to be fair.
But from what we've seen now, this is the new Sona Tahm Kench, and this is the comp that you can't outscale. And I think fighting it early does make sense. It's just OG, to me, misexecuted. They could have won the game with that composition. Is it the composition I wanted to see? No. But also they need to look at their decision-making process coming out of draft, because there was a clear identifier. Shut down the champion that's going to scale. You already have winning topside. You already have a solid mid lane matchup. But instead they went topside. They doubled down on Alphari, and the game fell apart. So I agree, wasn't my favorite draft, but they still had the tools to win the game. They just honestly messed it up.
So execution, again, you know, to summarize and to boil down, it does seem like the refined version of it is just Origen. A little more needed consistency, certainly not the consistency they were looking for as they add another loss to that column. But what does it all mean with the playoffs secured for Mad Lions, XL, Misfits, G2, and SK likely feeling pretty good about that? I don't understand why.
I mean, like, I think everyone is, so what you don't want to do is
lose games.
Well,
right, and then you want to win them?
So, yes, but it's important who you're winning to and who you're losing to.
Yes.
What I think is really important here is that when it comes to Mad Lions, teams that beat Mad Lions almost get a free pass, as it were, to like lose a game against a direct competitor because you have that 1 game buffer. And when we look at SK, they're sitting at 7-7 because they beat Mad Lions last week, right? So even though they lost their game today, they're still sitting in 4th place right now because of that win. So at the end of the day, the fact that Origen lost this game probably doesn't mean a huge amount because, okay, you lost to the team that's currently in 1st place, but it also means that you don't have that safety net that other teams could potentially pick up.
I'm with you.
And because our tiebreaker setups are pretty much set up to deny tiebreaker games just as much as humanly possible outside of 3-way ties, it means that it's always going to be pretty complicated, but general old rules still apply, which is that if you're going to lose to a team super far above you or super far below you, it's not ideal, but it's okay. The games you cannot afford to lose are the teams that are right next to you that you will be judged against for tiebreaker games. So not ideal, sucks for OG, but they're not dead yet.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a luxury for us because we can tell you that every game pretty much matters and you want to win it and you probably don't want to lose it. And I feel like I've been here before. I'm getting some mad deja vu, Groundhog Day. I'm hitting my alarm.
Sports coverage. How does this always happen?
Until there's a hashtag, it doesn't matter. Okay?
The thing is, why are they all sending Walcott on that early? I just don't know. Either way, our next game has huge implications for the road to playoffs as G2 and Esports take on Vitality. We'll see you in a sec.
Did you say G2 and Esports?
Probably. I don't know.